The Libeum has fallen. Our African army became the first Massalian force to set foot upon Sicily. Now it was time to bring the others over too. Eumenes will single-handedly take on the Etruscans to the north. We wish him luck, but I've been told as a simple storyteller to focus on the invasion of Sicily first. Both armies were on their way towards Massalia, the town that started the feud between Rome and Carthage so long ago. It was time to pay our visit. Our ships that had transported our armies across the sea and caused havoc to our enemies finished their transporting tasks to finally raid the Italian coast. They crushed the last Roman fleet in the region and blockaded Terracina. Here they gained some major intel. The capital of Rome was heavily fortified, with another army at Capua and 2 more Etruscan battalions moving towards the Samnites. Realizing the painful situation our allies were in, we called for an urgent council meeting. There really was no doubt about the situation, and everyone pretty much agreed with the results. Yoshuk demanded we march to the rescue of the Samnites. With agreement from Sumari and no objection, it was deemed so. Luckily, Massalia, the town we wanted to take, was in our way. It was captured after a rough fight. This heavily militarized town was rapidly demolished into rubble and dust. Scorched earth tactics, except we are doing it offensively. Speaking about tactics, the Romans tried to stop the operations by our navy. But to be honest, I've never seen someone get destroyed this decisively in a long time. They got rammed and shot to death, leaving over 6,000 bodies in the water. But as our supplies were low, we couldn't keep up the blockade. Instead, the ships sacked the town to return back to Albia to refill their supplies. Now that I mention supplies, the invasion of the north didn't get off to a good start. Just 1 month after setting sail, they had run out of supplies. A major blunder by the admiral. No one actually knows what happened to the man in charge of the logistics, not even me. However, rumors say he suffered a death worse than the Emporian traitors. To make it even worse, the place Eumenes landed was so densely filled with snow, he had to return to his small transports to land further down the coast. But by doing this, we trespassed into the Etruscan territory, something they didn't appreciate. The following month, they declared war on us. Their greatest mistake. Yet after all of our struggles so far, our men were still excited and fueled for a fight. At request, I didn't deny my veterans of this great war. We looted the settlement, signaling our arrival in these pesky lands. You can already smell the Aventine from here. We heard rumors about soldiers from Campania wanted to join our ranks. However, they never arrived. Probably captured, but nothing we can deal with now. We had to seek the assistance of some locals as a replacement. I know it isn't optimal, but it was all the Greeks had available at the moment. We would test their valor at the Battle of Arretium, which went well as expected. Finally, some luck for the Massalians. Or maybe that was said a bit too early, as a grand Etruscan army arrived to retake their former capital. Our main forces guarded the main street towards the town square, with our ballistae further back, near the residence. We even planned to outflank them, with our Iberian swordsmen hiding on top of a hill. However, only a tiny portion of the enemy forces attacked here. The rest decided to take a long way around. Their incredible numbers had to be stopped before they reached our ballistae. This was the true test for our local levies. As the battle extended further into the night, Eumenes made a bold move. He turned his massive siege equipment and ordered it to fire straight into the fighting blob, hitting both Etruscans and Massalians alike. After our heroic defenses of the town, a rebellion erupted at Pisa in the north, the opposite way of where we actually needed to go. As a result of this, Eumenes cleverly split parts of his army to deal with the threat, while he pushed towards the east coast. Even with our armies being split, Pisarum wasn't a threat. We even found a tribe in Cisalpine Gaul that hated the Romans as much as us. Trade and other relations were quickly formed to secure a prosperous future. But there was no time to waste. Our offense had to continue. After this much slaughter in the north, we finally had to slow down. Not by the will of our Massalian generals, but rather because they feared to be pincered by the Roman legion. Eumenes couldn't finish off the Etruscans, as that would threaten Rome, forcing the defending army to move out. Furthermore, these recently conquered ports at the east coast would also be vulnerable to naval attacks and an assault from the legion at Corfinum. It was time to lick our wounds for a bit. Thankfully, the Etruscans asked for peace, which we rightfully accepted. But while that happened, let me return to the south once again. The winter wouldn't stop us from coming to the rescue of our allies in Italy. Croton was our next target along the coast in Magna Graecia. Archers all the way from Crete had even arrived to help in our war with Rome. They knew if we didn't deal with them now, Greece would fall. Our elephants from Africa trampled every single one of them, establishing a foothold at the tip of their lands. Finally bordering our allies, whose capital was under siege by the Etruscans. However, the fall of our Samnite allies was near. Syracuse, the Greek city-state in Sicily, had expanded into Samnite lands. I see they have finally chosen a side. Rosentum had already fallen with Turi soon to follow. Of course, this wasn't okay with Massalia. The Syracusans might be of Greek heritage, but their minds are clouded with Roman magic. We had to save them. An army started to raid the lands, while another moved to Syracuse. No loose ends here. Turi fell alongside Syracuse as a strike of redemption. Still, the Syracusan armies kept blocking our path ahead to save our allies, who were in desperate need of help. The Romans seemed to have intensified their attacks, with Beneventum recently sacked as well. For us to move forward, we needed to crush, and I really mean crush, an enemy army. If not, our rescue attempt wouldn't be possible. To our luck, that opportunity seemed to arrive as a Syracusan army tried to break our blockade. they failed just like everyone else. This gave us a perfect chance to subjugate the Greek state and make them see the true path once again. As our second army that conquered Syracuse returned back to Magna Graecia, we continued our attack. Tarentum was assaulted by both the land and sea, with us instantly pushing for Bartum. Here we found Publius Cornelius Scipio once again, ready to defend his homeland. Sadly for him, he was about to face the wrath of two Massalian armies. Our forces formed up in the standard line near the edge of the forest outside of the port settlement. But as we realized the town was getting reinforcements from the sea, we wanted to make their landing a lot tougher. Our cavalry will charge them as soon as their feet touch the sand. As our army closed in on the town, the battle began. As our cavalry had dealt with the marines, it was time to finish the job and bring out the big guns. The mass charge of our elephants caused a mass rout among the defending army, scoring a great victory. The Greeks had secured Magna Graecia, but failed in their original goal. The Etruscans had captured Beneventum, leaving the Samnites without a place to call their own, a shadow of their former selves. To make matters worse, the Romans completely abandoned the south after this. If we attacked 1 month earlier, it could have turned out differently. Sadly, that wasn't the case. We attacked the last town down there, preparing for our final assault on Rome. The army in the north had grown into 2 large ones. Together, all 4 armies will combine into one and pincer the Latins and finally become an empire.